I'm with Coach Dave Miller. He's the head coach of the Fairmont Firebirds. And Coach, now as we start into week 4, we also start into GWalk play. And your first team you're going to play is rather highly rated, I think, at this point. So,
Yep.
but first, let's talk about the LaSalle game. On the positive side, the defense basically gave up 1 touchdown, since the other was from a turnover. What improvement did you see in containing McLaughlin and the passing attack?
Well, I saw improvement overall as the Fairmont Firebirds. Our defense definitely stepped up. I thought at times on offense we moved the ball really well. We're still too inconsistent to beat good opponents. But as far as what I saw change in a week's time was an overall attitude about how we approach things here. And I saw it, through the whole weekend. We came out, Friday night, and in a very hostile environment, you'd say. I mean, you have to go down to Cincinnati at a GCL South school, and there's an aura about that. But our kids were undaunted, and we made some mistakes early that cost us late, to have a chance to come away with a win. But the overall attitude was tremendous, and it carried over into Saturday. We had a kind of a same kind of thing with our JV game, and our kids just battled, and freshmen got a win at the end there. So I just think start to finish, I felt good about us, a lot better this week coming out, after the weekend than I did the week before, just because they started playing Fairmont football.
Unfortunately, this was an un-Fairmont type of game. The first possession fumble was costly. What did you see as it looked like a mix-up with Brock Baker going to the handoff?
Well, number one, we started a sophomore center. We started 5 sophomores. We started 4 on defense, a center, because our starting center was sick, 2 days. So our policy is if you're a starter, you don't start. I'm not going to make excuses. I mean, that exchange has to happen. It is what it is. We put the ball on the ground. We talk about it constantly. It is uncharacteristic. You take away 2 turnovers, I think we have a really good chance of winning that game. If you look at where we were at the end of it, so that was costly. Gave them a very short field, and they went down and capitalized. But so we can't do that. That's called beating yourself, and we preach that. That's one of our Firebird identities, to not beat ourselves. So we did, but we'll learn from it and get better.
Then there were the penalties, uncharacteristic with the offside infractions. Did LaSalle do anything to cause those?
Nope, that's self-inflicted. We just talked about that. That's a chronic problem. I think we had a bunch of them on Saturday too. So it's something we're going to need to clean up. On the defensive line, defensive side of the ball, and I think we got their attention. So again, don't beat yourself. I think. The fumbles, the offsides, because it extended their other scoring drive, really gave them. They were in a 3rd and 10. We jumped twice to give them a first down. They're in a 2nd and long. We jump again, and then they threw a bomb over our sophomore corner. And he's going to learn from that too. But we should have never been in that situation.
Okay, the lone touchdown, Dunleavy from Baker, 12 yards out. Was that executed just like you did in practice?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that was a little bit of an ad lib. Asa got caught up a little bit. We thought it would be there if he gets out clean, and he got kind of caught up in the mix. But it was a good job by Brock and Asa both not giving up on the play, and really the line kept blocking and gave him some time to get that off. But that was huge. After another solid drive, we're in a 4th and 2, and we thought it was there. That's why we chose it. But good execution, really, or not giving up on the play.
Now on to Northmont. As for this week, how do you slow down a team averaging over 35 points in a game and leading the league in passing?
I think the key, you just said, is you got to somehow slow them down. I don't know if stopping them is, we've always had trouble with that, but our MO is make them earn it, so if we give them big plays, then it could be a long night. I mean, that's what they do. So we need to be on the field on offense as long as possible and eat up the clock and have long sustained drives and just make them earn everything. If they earn it, then great. We started off last year that way. We had they ended up on the 15 on the ensuing kickoff and the opening kickoff, and then they drove 18 plays and scored. And I wasn't that upset with that. It's kind of the response we had a year ago. in the first half especially was uncharacteristic of us too. But we're going to have to play our game for sure.
We haven't really seen much blitzing in 3 games. Is that an option to consider?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. No, I don't know. It depends on what our defense coaches want to do, but we're not a big blitz team. We want to play good, sound football, and we will blitz you, but we like to do it when it's unexpected and prevent vulnerabilities. When you start doing that, you give up your base stuff, and that's when big plays can happen too. So we got to be really careful with that.
Okay, and finally, 6'5" Max Welter gave you trouble last week, and now you go up against 6'3" Dylan Wilkins, who caught 6 touchdowns last week. What's the defensive game plan?
Yeah, I don't think it's his height that bothers me as much as just his athleticism. They always seem to find a kid or a couple kids that are just off the charts, with athletic ability. But we have to keep them in front of us and tackle. As long as we do that, we're going to be fine.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks again for taking the time to speak with me, and good luck on Friday night.
Thanks, Norm.
I'm with Tony Broring, who is the head coach of the Northmont Thunderbirds, and we meet again before another Thunderbirds.
Thunderbolts.
I'm
right.
sorry.
That's okay.
It says right there, Thunderbolts too. We meet again before another Thunderbolt Firebirds game, but this time it's going to be at the Fairmont Stadium rather than up here.
Right.
So, an undefeated non-conference schedule and a red-hot passing attack. How is it all coming together for senior Deuce Kortner?
Well, Deuce is a special talent, and we identified him very early on. I mean, he's a 3-year starter. And so after kind of taking his lumps in 10th grade, and we had some bumps in the road there together, now he's a senior. He's very experienced. He knows where the ball should go, and he delivers it very well.
Dylan Watkins, 6 touchdown receptions last week in his first action this year. What makes him so special?
Well, Dalen Wilkins is another young man that we identified when he was a freshman. He wasn't even a football player. He was a basketball player. And we convinced him to come out and give it a try his sophomore season, and he played. And he was kind of figuring out how to play the position. And of all the receivers we've had here over the past few seasons, we've had some really, really good ones. Marcus Allen and Justin Golson, Jabari Perkins. Dalen's upside is just so high, it's unbelievable. I mean, last Friday was his first game. He had 11 receptions, 199 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I mean, he's just a phenomenal athlete, and his catch radius helps a lot. He's got long arms. He's about 6'3", 215. He can go up and get any 50-50 ball, and Dunbar was single covering him. So that was Deuce's first option, and he took it.
Other weapons at the wideout are Williams, Lupton, and Brew. How are they different from one another?
Well, Brady Lupton used to be a quarterback, and he wanted to get the ball and score some touchdowns, so we moved him to slot, and he's been a great addition to the receiving corps. He's a dynamic, explosive football player, and really, really smart. Like I said, he used to be a quarterback, so he knows where everybody's at on every play. DJ Williams, who until last week was leading our team in receptions and yardage and touchdowns, until Dalen did that, he was a safety last year in a corner. He was a DB, and we needed someone to come over there and help us, and he was the best option just because he is so athletic. He plays point guard on the basketball team. He runs track for me. So those two guys have been really a big boost to our slot receiver position. And then, of course, Dorian. Dorian has been on the varsity since he was a freshman, even before Deuce and Dalen were. And, he's got all the offers, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas. Everybody's offered him because he's such a phenomenal athlete. So he really has no ceiling. I mean, the sky's the limit for him, what he can do. He plays both ways for us. He plays corner and receiver. And the other night he broke a school record. a 98-yard touchdown catch, and no one could catch him. I mean, he's just that fast.
Okay, Colleen Grant is only a sophomore, but third in the G-Walk in rushing. What makes him so effective?
Well, Callian is another guy that we saw early on as a freshman and brought him up to the varsity last year. One thing that helps is he's getting coached by Mark Mays. Now, Mark played here. He's in the Northmont Football Hall of Fame. He played major college football. So he coaches Callian like he's in college, and he teaches him a lot of skill sets that a lot of running backs just don't get taught until they get to the next level. And Mark does that here. Most of my coaches, we try to coach the kids in high school as if they were in a college level program. And Mark's really good at that. So that helps Cal a lot. And Callian's very gifted. He's very, very talented. He sees the field. His vision is really good. He sees the field, and he knows where the cuts are.
So what needs to be cleaned up? Against Dunbar, there were 9 penalties and 2 turnovers.
Well, for sure. You can't turn the ball over against Fairmont. I mean, we understand. We've gone against them now since Dave's been there. We understand that you get very limited possessions because of their style of play. So you can't turn the ball over if you want to win. You really can't have any penalties, especially on the offensive side. If you get behind the chains and then you have to punt, you might not get the ball back. There was a game a couple years ago where we came out in the third quarter and we went 3 and out. We didn't get the ball back till the fourth quarter. And so that makes it tough. So we have to work very diligently this week on, cleaning up those mistakes offensively. And the penalties, you can't get them on defense either. If you give him extra yardage, and he's going to go for it on every 4th down anyways. If it's 4th and 7, statistically you have a pretty good shot at stopping them. But if it's 4th and 2, it's very difficult. So we're going to try to limit those things and make sure that we play as clean a game as we can.
Let's talk about the defense. Dejon Sales, senior inside linebacker, is the leading tackler. How has he been so effective?
Well, Dewan was a young man who came to us last year, and he's a special player. I was just talking to the coaches in our pre-meeting about how hard he works. So he is the senior leader of the team. He is the senior captain on defense, and no one outworks him. So we were in the weight room today, and he was the hardest worker by far, and that's what makes him so great on Friday nights as well. He'll practice harder than anyone. He'll prepare harder than anyone, so he can play harder than anyone on Friday.
Okay, overall, what is your general impression of the defense?
Well, they've been great. I mean, the defense has been lights out this year. They really haven't given up hardly anything. We've had 2 pick sixes, where they would be statistically the number 1 defense in the whole area. So they've done a great job. We've got some new guys over there coaching. Jake Myers and Chris Stanley are back, my 2 Hall of Famers from Northmont. But we brought in Coach Gillespie to be the defensive coordinator and a couple of his guys, and they've done a great job prepping the kids, preparing them meticulously to know what's coming. But also the kids over there are really good. I mean, there's some really good football players over there, not just the one. We have 4 senior defensive linemen, been in the program for 4 years, and they are phenomenal. Josiah, Jordan, Tyler, and Big Ed. So that helps when you have those senior guys up front. They've been through the wars. They know how to play. They know what Friday night's like. That helps a tremendous amount.
Okay, and finally, you shut out Fairmont last year, and there's no Drew Baker this year.
We're glad he's gone.
What are your impressions of them so far?
Well, they're still really good. I mean, his brother's the quarterback, so he's tough. I mean, he's a good athlete. But yeah, we weren't sorry to see Drew graduate, that's for sure. But last year we got on top of them early, and we had a really good game plan on defense, and we had some tremendous seniors on defense last year as well, and that helps. I've seen that option come at them before. But overall, I say the same thing every year against Fairmont. You cannot make any mistakes. If you make a mistake, you're going to lose. So you have to play error-free football to beat them.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, especially on a holiday.
No holidays in football,
And good luck on Friday night.
Thank you, sir.
All right.